In the next segment, we saw the sublime and the ridiculous at the same time. Don Callis is having a ball. And as a matter of fact, go back in the archives. I don't know if it's on Patreon yet. He's been on my show here in the past. We talked about.
It is on Patreon.
It is on Patreon. And we talked about, I thought he could have been one of the better managers in the business back in the 90s. That's why I got him wormed into the WWF for a while. And they obviously mistreated him and didn't appreciate what was going on with Don Callis, the Jackal. But it's like, Olivier and Callis arrive in a helicopter. It looked a lot cooler when Flair did it in Charlotte and landed in the stadium. But here's the thing, if you notice, for one thing, I would have thought that Olivier could have floated in himself because he's lighter than air. But he gets out of the helicopter and looks around, and the camera follows him. And then they have a cutaway back to the helicopter. Don Callis is getting out of the same seat that Omega was just in. And they didn't think to get a 3-seat helicopter. They only got a 2-seater. So they had to cut to Callis getting out of it when he was already on the ground. Anyway, they did the big entrance that I fast-forwarded through, except I think they added more dancing broom girls this time. Watching Kenny Olivier surrounded by all those dancing broom girls is like watching a vegetarian surrounded by prime rib. What the fuck? So then they get in the ring and Shivani social distance Don Callis. Shivani acted like he was going to bow up at Don Callis and you're disgusting. And Callis takes the microphone and Tony backs off like he had a fucking gun on him or he was afraid he was contagious. But Callis is what Olivier needs, or at least one of the things that he needs. A promo, a manager, a guy to talk for him. The more that Don Callis speaks and the less that Olivier speaks, the better off everybody is. And Callis did the promo while Olivier stood there displaying the ounce of personality and charisma he has. And Callis gives him the big build-up and gives him the microphone, and finally Olivier tells the truth. They basically did you hear? He basically came out and said, we just played the nepotism and favoritism game better than everybody else in this company, and we've fucked y'all, and it basically just admitted that Tony Khan, this is the story now, that Tony Khan is a sucker money mark, and everybody's been trying to get their friends jobs and successful at it, but they did it better than everybody, and now they're running the place because they were smarter than everybody else, and they took this sucker for more money than the other people took him for. Was this the interview that I heard them give?
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, that was basically the things they said. And Olivier sang his thing and gloated that everybody fell for it. And a lot of inside shit. He was trying to imitate Ole Anderson at one point. This was another, he was trying to go into that Al Pacino fucking, a method acting impersonator at a method acting class type of thing where he was having a mental meltdown. And then they went back to the fucking helicopter, I guess. And only one of them got to get back in it. Maybe they strapped Callis to the fucking runners and took him off. But yeah, 2-seat helicopter and 3 people in it. What'd you think of this?
There are some people comparing Callis and Omega to Bockwinkel and Heenan.
Oh, for... All right.
I don't know what to think. I'm not as high on Don Callis as you are.
Well, no, hold on now. I liked his shit, and I'm not backing up on what I just said, but when you've just said that people are comparing him to Bobby Heenan, I'm sorry, Don Callis may be closer to Bobby Heenan than Kenny Olivier is to Nick Bockwinkel, but still, there's room. I like Callis's shit because he's a snide promo, and you can believe that he's a snide fucking asshole. But let's not suddenly find the second coming of Bobby Heenan, for fuck's sake.
I think this is a better version of Omega, but he really quickly went from wearing his pajamas to wearing suits. And now he says he's back to being the New Japan Omega. Like you said, now ever since you said it, all I could focus on is him singing his promos. He doesn't know how to talk like a normal person. He doesn't know how to be convincing. He comes across just...
He's playing a part. He's one of these fucking guys that sits in the corner and jacks off about his video games on his fucking telephone and fucking has no personality whatsoever and thinks he's a goddamn artist. And this is not wrestling to him.
I don't doubt that he's a douchebag, but he's not this douchebag.
He's not just any douchebag.
And boy, the helicopter. Do you remember when Ric Flair landed at the helicopter? Boy, that was a big deal. Great American Bash.
It was on the evening news.
This was just, hey, it's Wednesday.
It's a douchebag. Here he comes.
I thought I missed something because I didn't rewind it. But when Omega got out, I started walking, and then I shot back to Callis, and then I'm like, he wasn't sitting there. Was Omega sitting on his lap?
That's what you see. You could have even said, because I had the line ready. I was going to say, well, Omega must have been sitting on Callis's lap. But when Kenny got out, you could clearly see the seat was empty. And then the camera pans away and cuts right back, and there's Callis sitting in the seat. And there was not even any room to climb from a back seat that apparently didn't exist. I don't know, whatever it's like watching people pretend to be wrestlers doing things that they've seen wrestlers do. It's like the greatest hits of all of the incidents that you remember from the territories without the great setups, the wonderful follow-throughs, or the incredible execution of the talented performers. It's just incidents that some goof remembers seeing when he was a kid, or when he was, whether he was a kid chronologically or just a kid mentally. It's people playing wrestling and wrestler. And they're now, at least with Callis, like I said, as long as Olivier doesn't have to open his mouth any more than necessary, Callis is stronger with him than he is without him. But then he's going to, at some point, have to have a different kind of match besides this 30-minute fucking bullshit that he does where he pulls out all these video game moves, and it's all the same, and it makes no sense. And he does a little canter. Somebody sent me some horse show footage of Kenny Olivier competing, the canter. The little canter before he does his video game knee lift. Let's see what they come up with. Your closing thoughts on Helicopter Boy.
Those were my closing thoughts. And I didn't watch Impact, so I didn't get to see whatever they did on that show, which
no,
I'm never going to watch.